I gotta come.
Oh, is it? You can push it back, I think, a little more.
I think it's...
Is that as far back as it'll go?
I'm just a goddamn giant.
Whenever I was instinctively do that in Dave and Sarah's car and forget about the baby seat in the back.
Just whaba! Oh, nice off.
Sorry, we left you in here while we were going to see Truth or Dare.
Did you have a good time? Yeah.
No. So this is another one of those where as soon as you pulled up in your truck and you got out and I looked at you and went, so have you also never heard of this movie?
Exactly.
Yeah. I only first heard of this film. We went to go see Bad Samaritan. I had only first heard of this film 2 or 3 days ago when I just went to go, because Sarah and I are seeing Overboard tomorrow, and I needed to find out what else was coming out this weekend. I looked, and this is playing on like a couple of different screens in Springfield. I never got a single trailer for the movie. I never heard of this movie coming out.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember ever seeing it on any kind of coming soon list. There's never been any poster. There's not even a poster for it there now, and it's playing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess there isn't. Is there?
Yeah. So I sent you the text, and I didn't even ask you in the text. I was like, well, maybe you've heard of it. Like, so no. I sent you the text on, hey, man, you want to go see Bad Samaritan on Thursday? Like, didn't even ask if you'd heard of the movie or not.
Because I was, well, as soon as I saw it, I was like, what the fuck's Bad Samaritan? Like, did I just miss that one? I mean,
And then, because this has happened a couple of times before, so I'm like, oh man, is this going to be like a Valley of Bones situation?
Oh,
or
fuck. When
Brian and I went to go see The Disappointments Room, because I never got a trailer for that either, and didn't know about that till it first came out.
Oh, okay.
But, this one now, now if you don't know this movie, it's I'll get into the plot here in a second, but unlike The Disappointments Room and Valley of Bones, this movie is actually a pretty good surprise. I kind of wish there had been more trailers out for this movie, to be perfectly honest, or some semblance that the movie even exists. This is not a bad movie at all. In fact, it's a pretty damn good one. When I looked and saw the plot synopsis the other day, when right when I first heard about this movie, the plot said a house thief breaks into somebody's house and finds in breaking into a dude's house, he finds that there's already a crime being committed. Like, he finds that there's a woman there, like, chained up and having been kidnapped. So I saw that. Instantly, my mind went to something like The Collector, or even Don't Breathe, honestly. So that's kind of where my mind went to in this. The actual movie itself is not like that at all. The actual movie itself is honestly kind of a throwback to something like Brian De Palma would have done like 30 years ago.
It might a little bit of Kiss the Girls.
Yeah,
like in there, yeah, like the kidnapping and the trophy type thing situation, kind of,
and also like The Hitcher. And how, like, really cat and mouse it is between the young guy who's the lead and the serial killer. The killer, by the way, okay. So now, again, the plot is it's this young dude, and he and his buddy are valet drivers, and their big scheme is that they're working at this fancy Italian restaurant. Whenever someone drops off their car to them, they take that person's car, go back to where the person lives, robs them, brings back the car. So they end up doing this with this instantly rather unsettling looking, like, rich dude, and it's David Tennant. David Tennant is the serial killer in this film. And so they take and he's instantly, like, crazy-eyed, wearing these fancy-ass suits, going in there just saying, like, I'm gonna kill you if you put a scratch on this fucking car. And so the dude goes back to try to rob him and finds a girl just chained up and gagged in his office. And it's just this series of these attempts of this guy to try to get the cops to believe him, anyone to believe him that this is going on. Because unlike The Collector or Don't Breathe, this isn't a movie that's just taking place in one night or one location.
Yeah.
It's taking place over the course of at least a few days. And I had a really good time with this movie. It's wildly entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, and really, David Tennant is the only big name in this movie.
Who's the lead guy? Robert Sheehan is his name, I believe? He looks a little like James Franco.
I guess he kind of does. Irish James Franco, that's what he
is. Yeah. He was really good. The acting is solid in this film. The lead was incredibly competent in this. He was very likable. You rooted for this poor guy. And David Tennant has mad fucking skills at playing a villain, especially this kind of villain. He's playing this, like, trust fund psychopath that feels like... He feels like a movie serial killer version of Martin Shkreli. Almost down
Farmer
to...
Bro.
It almost seems like Tennant's kind of doing an impression in a way.
Shit.
He steals every scene he's in this, and again, like, you feel for this dude that is just trying to get people to believe him that this is going on, because what David Tennant is doing to this kid is just making this kid's life hell. He, like, he hacks into, like, his computer, he hacks into the kid's Facebook account, he breaks up with the kid's girlfriend on Facebook and then puts a naked picture of her on there.
Okay.
And
sorry, not to... So...
The lead guy?
Geostorm. He was in Geostorm.
Okay. Well, we'll get to Geostorm here in a second, but...
sorry, yeah.
What else has he been in?
He was at that Mute movie, the one that's, I think, is on Netflix, with Skarsgård.
Okay. I do remember him from Geostorm.
Jet Train. That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
The Moonwalkers, The Messengers.
Uh-huh.
I thought I said something. The Mortal Instruments Bones from back in the day.
Okay. Yeah, I remember him from a few of these movies. He's really good in this
Season
movie.
of the Witch from back in the day.
Oh. That was kind of a fun movie.
So basically, nothing like huge, so he's still...
He carries this movie as the lead, and, like, David Tennant, like, beats the shit out of the kid's girlfriend. He gets, like, his dad fired from his job, gets his mom, like, suspended for her job by saying she's abusing kids. Like, it's crazy.
He sets out to, like, ruin his life. Like, he's tracking him the whole... Like, this... Tennant is just, one, he's psycho, but he's that controlled psychotic. Only lets it out when he really gets pissed off.
Everything has to be neat and orderly, and there's, like, barely anything in his house, and his house is, like, fucking fancy as shit. Like, just the little bits, like where he's fixing the tools when the cop is in there.
Yeah. It's
one of those movies that's so... It's got a really good pace. The pace is consistently suspenseful.
Yeah.
And it's got a, and the two leads work off of each other really well in this. And it's got such a good pace, and it maintains such a good level of suspense that you don't have time to think about how maybe this situation could be kind of quickly wrapped up, or you don't have, it doesn't give you enough time to really apply a lot of real world logic in this. And you could, sure, but I was having a solid enough time in this flick. I just liked seeing these two actors just play this cat and mouse game with each other. Tennant especially, who's having a brilliant time in this film. And I didn't know who made this movie either.
Right.
Until the ending credits. Because, again, I never heard of this film. And the ending credits, this movie is written and directed by Dean Devlin.
Yeah.
Speaking of Geostorm, like, both of us were in the theater, like...
Really?
Really? okay. I mean, it's a competently enough made movie. It's not as stylish as, like, Blowout or, again, The Hitcher, but it's a decently made movie. It maintains its level of suspense, but I'm like, okay, maybe he should just start doing more movies like this.
Yeah. Well, and it's especially knowing that this movie couldn't have had that big of a budget. There's no the distributors, the production company. I was like, I don't think I've ever heard of either one of them. So you know that they weren't big on the budget, and the majority of the budget probably came in getting David Tennant in the movie. So yeah, I mean, for what they put into it is, yeah, it was definitely well made on that part.
Yeah, it's a lot better than Geostorm. It's a lot better than most things I've seen.
Geostorm.
And I like some of the movies he's produced, but no, this is in a different league, really, than a lot of things I've seen his name attached to.
Usually they're bigger budget type thing, because didn't he produce, or was one of the producers or writers on Stargate, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah, that was when he was still with Roland Emmerich.
Yeah.
And I think he's behind that Librarian series.
Okay.
If I had known he made this movie, I actually would have given Ryan a call, because Ryan worked for him for, like, quite a few years. He worked pretty close with Dean Devlin, and he worked on that, like, Librarian series and a few other things. So, like, if anybody I know would have heard of this movie, it would have been Ryan.
That's true. But yeah, no, you're right. You were right about it. It's definitely not a movie you would have thought he would have been attached to. There's no way.
Dude, no!
like the type of movies you're normally used to seeing and the type of productions, they're much bigger. They're blown out. I mean, this was small budget, smaller cast, just taut.
Yeah.
The whole way through. So it was different.
Yeah, it's like what, I don't know, the Snowman should have been. The Snowman was one of the biggest fucking clusterfucks of a movie like that I've ever fucking seen. That had a lot of fucking promotion behind it.
Yes.
This one, I saw nothing on this movie. And it is a solid thriller. It's a really solid thriller. For about the first half hour or so of the movie, I was sitting there like, I was enjoying it, certainly, but I was sitting there sort of like, well, I don't know why this is in theaters necessarily. It could be on Netflix. It could just be on Netflix. But honestly, to tell you the truth though, like, it is such a surprise that I hope more people do go see this. Right. And plus, it's way goddamn better than that fucking Truth or Dare movie that's also playing in theaters right now.
Come on, you didn't love Truth or Dare? It's the greatest movie of all time.
Holy shit, fucking Truth or Dare. Christ.
You know what? Here's my one fucking thing. And I'm like...
About this?
No, about Truth or Dare.
Oh.
Just... She knew that she was gonna have the demon play Truth or Dare at the end.
Did you go see Truth or Dare?
Yes, I went to go see Truth or Dare.
Why? Why did you go see that?
Because it doesn't cost me a dime.
Oh, Movie Pass?
I have Movie Pass. So I was like, fuck it. My friend was like, I want to go see this. I was like, alright, we'll go see it. If she had this plan all along, why the fuck didn't she set it up to where he would have had to play Dare? And go, I dare you to stop playing this game and go back where you fucking came from. Into the movie.
That's a good point.
Instead of turning it into the fucking Ring.
Because maybe they were banking on there might be a sequel, which, to be perfectly honest, there might be a sequel to that movie. It's a Blumhouse movie, man.
It made and they make a lot of money. Every one of them. It doesn't matter how bad they are. But
I mean, and there's some and there are really good movies associated with Blumhouse. We got a trailer for Truth or Dare wasn't fucking one of them, but it still made a profit because it only had like a $3 or $4 million budget.
Well, and the central idea of that movie could have worked. It's just that it wasn't executed like they should have executed it. But
we got a trailer for one that looks like it'll be one of their better movies. We got a trailer for that movie Upgrade.
Yeah.
Which, when it first started, I thought it was another Venom trailer, and then as it kept... It wasn't until halfway into that trailer I realized that the lead wasn't Tom Hardy. And by the end, I leaned over to you, I was like, this looks like the way better version of that Venom movie coming out.
So, and it's labeled under Blumhouse Tilt. Which makes me think, are they starting to branch off into, like, action thrillers now?
No, that's been... I've seen, for a couple of years, they've been doing that. I saw that in front of, like, The Gift with Jason Bateman. Maybe, because they also... Blumhouse also did Whiplash.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe Tilt was the logo in front of that too. But for the past couple of years, I've seen that.
The stuff that maybe isn't straight, like the straight horror, basically, is what.
Yeah.
What I was getting at that. So.
Blumhouse, regular Blumhouse is Dimension. Blumhouse Tilt is Miramax.
What?
You know how Dimension was usually under like if there was a horror movie back then put out by them. Then it was usually under the Dimension logo.
Okay.
But your, like, Oscar stuff, your Shakespeare in Loves were under
Miramax,
Dimension. Or, I'm sorry, we're under Miramax.
Okay. I gotcha.
All my analogies are way dated.
True. They just don't try and hide it like the other... They're just like, this is a Blumhouse film, this is also a Blumhouse film. It's just a different studio, you know.
Yeah. Miramax Tilt. No, I don't know how many theaters this is in. I don't know if this is in a lot of theaters. I mean, here's the thing, like, it's in our theater, so you gotta think it's got a decent release, because there's a lot of shit that, like, what did we not? We didn't get, like, Phantom Thread. There's weird, like, maybe it's just our theater. Like, there's certain movies that are acclaimed movies. Yeah.
Like, I think...
We didn't get Traffic that came out a couple of weeks ago.
No, we didn't. So it's weird that... And that one has... I mean, I've seen advertising and trailers for that
quite
one.
A bit.
So it doesn't... Unless it's getting a delayed release, but... I can't imagine why this one would have been distributed here as opposed to, like, Traffic, because at least Traffic
was getting advertised.
So it's, I mean, like I said, unless it's delayed release, but...
I mean, I guess that happens every now and then. That Valley of Bones movie that we got, that was only in, like, 100 or 2 theaters, or if that, and somehow came here. Granted...
It's because they know they wanted to fuck with me.
I mean, granted... This movie, Bad Samaritan, has a cast and a director behind it that I easily recognize. Like, Valley of Bones didn't really have that. I still don't know why we got that movie. I really don't.
And I wish we hadn't.
Or that Unsullied movie that Dave and I went to go see that looked like a direct to, like... I don't even know what... It looked like something that we would have had one copy of 12 years ago at Hollywood Video and somehow made it to theaters. And Dave and I went to go see it. I guess that happens every now and then here, but this one, no, I recommend this movie. I had a really good time watching this.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. The only thing I can think of was that they made it, and then once they started they weren't going to distribute it, but once they started doing, like, test screenings, the positive word of mouth maybe made them change their mind. Because that's the only thing I can think of where it was, like, not hearing barely anything about it, and then all of a sudden it's there.
I mean, it could also be that, I mean, Devlin is wealthy enough to probably get this in a lot of theaters.
Yeah, I guess he could, yeah.
Like, it could be that. That certainly wouldn't surprise me. That's kind of how that Unsullied movie came here, because I forget the guy's name, but the guy who wrote it and directed it was a former NFL player, and just, like, had the money to put it in a lot of theaters. Springfield being one of them.
Now I'm intrigued. I want to know what asshole put that movie out.
Unsullied. You'll probably... I don't watch football, so, I mean, I didn't recognize his name offhand, but my dad did. I told my dad his name.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's it.
From 2014?
I think that's it.
track star who's kidnapped by a pair of sociopaths.
That's it.
Fucking Simeon Rice? Really? He's from the University of Illinois.
Oh, okay. Then that's probably why I came here. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's from Chicago. Yeah, but he...
And the guy who played the serial killer in that movie is a guy who I've only seen in, like, religious movies. Like, he was the lead in that, Voiceless, and he was in a couple others he was in one of the War on Christmas movies, like Last Ounce of Courage, and he was like a freaking serial killer in this movie. that one was rough to sit through, man. Unsullied.
It's like, it sounds like it took him forever to get...
Dude, when we went to go see Unsullied, you know how they have, like, the little, like, banners and everything that have, like, a logo for the movie, and it tells you what theater room it's in? They didn't even have that for Unsullied. It was just a piece of scratch paper that they just typed Unsullied on and just taped it to the, to the theater wall. The only other time I've seen them do that is when, like, a Bollywood movie is playing here. Or maybe they'll do that with Bad Samaritan. Again, there's no poster for it there.
No.
I hope people do go see this movie, honestly. Like, you'll probably have a good time with it.
I mean, if you like David Tennant,
then you're really gonna like this.
Yeah. If you like David Tennant, especially like if you saw Jessica Jones and you liked what he did in Jessica Jones as far as villainy goes.
Yeah.
This is good, really good too.
You're gonna have a really, really good time with it.
Which I'm hoping that he gets more roles like this. Because
he's got the eyes for it.
He's a fantastic actor just in general.
Yeah.
So you've already seen his range, like with the Doctor Who stuff, and he's fantastic in the Doctor Who stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like because of that, for a long time, he didn't get offered a whole lot of these other roles. Like the complete opposite, you know, which is kind of how that works with the Doctor Who actors. For some reason, they become so ingrained in that role that people don't tend to give them other... Because, I mean...
You see that with a lot of, like, franchises like that. Like a lot... Bond.
The ubiquitous... Yeah.
You see how, like, a lot of the Bond actors like to do stuff to branch out as well. Like, Daniel Craig and Logan Lucky and even plenty of other things he's done. You can really see that that actors... like that really do love sinking their teeth into a role where they get to do something that's wildly outside the character that they're best known for, or their most popular character.
But yeah, so I mean, it's very much in his range, and he does a great. You're right, he does have those eyes. It fucking reminded me of Harry Potter because the first thing I said, man, he reminded me of Barty Crouch when he's just doing that wide-eyed, like, crazy stare thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing the lizard tongue thing, but but when he went there, it was like he's fucking creepy as shit.
They give this character the most, like, spoiled rich kid backstory that involves a horse, and it's weird. Like, there is some weird stuff in this movie. I mean, it's a fun movie, but there's some odd things in it too.
Because basically, so he's a rich trust fund kid, and so he's got a crush on this older horse tamer.
Yeah.
So he tries to tame this horse. That's how the movie starts, as him as a kid just whipping the fuck out of this horse while she's yelling. And then I guess because she didn't like that he was doing that, he killed her. And somehow got away with that shit. Like, because apparently, well, I can't... No, this is true. If you got money, you can get away with shit. That's how that works. So they ferreted him off to a country with no extradition, I'm sure, for a few years, and everyone forgot about it. And lo and behold, he comes back and starts kidnapping women because he's fucking nuts.
And treating them like horses. Like,
he's breaking them like horses. What the fuck?
This is like a Lucio Fulci giallo backstory. Like it was an odd choice.
Somebody sticks a fucking bit in their mouth. It's
He's got horse statues in the
I mean, if he
busts and things.
If he'd tone it down a little bit, there's a couple women I'm sure would be interested in him, because that shit is a huge fetish. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So all you gotta do is just tone it. Don't kill him. Just let him be the horse, and they'll be good.
Oh,
But you gotta kill him. That's a step too far. That becomes murder, not a fetish.
You'll get caught when they know you go to the grocery store and you're buying nothing but carrots. Just pounds at a time.
Just go, I stick these up my ass.
I got this jar of peanut butter to try to get the horse to talk. No, but if this is playing anywhere around you, give it a shot. Like really, give this one a shot. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I mean, and don't expect this huge spectacle. I mean, it's very small budget, smaller unknown cast. So if you like those type of movies that are, those low budget type thrillers, this is a pretty good one to go check out.
Yeah, it was a really good surprise. It was. All right, tomorrow, I believe, Sarah and I we're gonna be at Overboard.
And I finally get to see Infinity War.
Yeah, you get to see Truth or Dare, but not Infinity War yet.
No, I got to see that one first. I was waiting.
Priorities.
I was waiting until my birthday because
right.
Those fucking Marvel had to push it up.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Which, this is the first one that hasn't come out around my birthday, and I'm like, come on, guys.
That's true. Well, at least you got Overboard.
Oh my fucking God. You know what? Go see this movie. Don't go see Overboard. Don't pay money to go see that. That's ridiculous. Just, no. And I like Anna Faris. Don't go see that fucking movie. Give her something else.
Both movies out this weekend star someone from Geostorm. Rob Sheehan in this, Eugenio Derbez, he was.
Nice.
He caused Gerard Butler to go, Hernandez, you son of a bitch. Geostorm.
Fucking Gerard Butler. Poor bastard.
Alright, everyone, take care. See ya.